we will talk about Mel Tucker. I'm fascinated by what's happening in Michigan State when you consider that administration, everything that they've gone through over the last few years to be dealt with this scandal, and to see who's riding in to save the day during the suspension is fascinating. But first,
and also it's a crazy, crazy scandal that a guy who got a giant contract after making Michigan State matter for 1 year because he had Walker, one of the best running backs I've ever seen.
Kenneth Walker,
he recruited very well.
And
he got $90 million.
He now has a scandal on. He now has. He's going to be fired. It looks like, although right now it's just a suspension.
Okay, let's talk about this, and we can table Week 1 NFL overreactions. We'll push that to the next segment. But let's talk about Mel Tucker. Here's what we know: there was the internal HR department was notified of this in December of 2022. We don't know how well known this was throughout the athletic department, throughout the administration. We know that there's been some back and forth. We know that Mel Tucker has admitted to masturbating on the phone with someone that he brought in to educate players on compliance issues and sexual harassment. She herself is a survivor of a sexual assault. Mel Tucker, who is a married man, been married for 20 years, has admitted to masturbating on the phone, but says in his own defense that everything was on the up and up with that I was not violating this person, nothing. This was totally consensual, and there's some disagreement and an investigation ongoing right now. Mel Tucker, after 1 good year at Michigan State, did sign close to a $90 million extension.
Brenda Tracy, the woman who is accusing him of the non-consensual phone sex, is a really well-known speaker who goes to universities and talks to athletic departments about sexual assault and consent especially. And so she was operating as a vendor of the university, providing her services to the university, and they pay her for it. So that's why this comes up as a Title IX investigation, because I think he admitted he did it. There's no question there. He said he masturbated while on the phone with this woman that it was consensual. But regardless, that's not behavior that you can partake in with an employee. That is a extreme lack of judgment. And she claims that it was not consensual at all. So now you have a sexual harassment.
And she's super credible, and he's incentivized here to look like he doesn't have any credibility and needs to protect his dollar.
A very well known officer amongst the athletic department. She tours the nation. She's spoken down here in Miami a couple times.
And in the USA Today investigation, he seemed to have basic facts wrong about where he was when it happened. He seemed to bring into question her credibility with her sexual assault that happened decades ago that she talks about when she visits college campuses. And the entire thing makes him look, I think, really bad and puts the university in a position where they're still reeling from the Larry Nassar scandal. People within the university and outside of the university were not happy about the way that they handled it and did not think that they were very there were felony charges brought on people involved in that situation that didn't report it correctly. And we all kind of remember all that. It happened less than 5 years ago. But this coming off of the heels of that, I think has also called into question why this timeline is the way it is, why the investigation took place this summer and the hearing on the matter isn't until October, and what the athletic director knew, and maybe he didn't know anything because it's a Title IX investigation. They don't have to report. They're not supposed to report the details to the athletic department. So there are still questions about who knew what at what point. But it does appear that he is going to be fired, and right now he's suspended without pay.
Those were the initial reports, too. There were reports that he was going to be fired, and then later on there was clarifications that there was this investigation, so he'd be suspended without pay. In the meantime, I don't know how long this has been going on. They were notified in 2022.
So their athletic director spoke yesterday in a 10-minute press conference that they abruptly ended after 10 minutes, where they later came out and said they didn't realize all the details until the USA Today article came out. They gave absolutely zero answer about how long they've known this, but they have known since 2022 for sure.
That there was a complaint. Yeah. Not necessarily what the complaint was, or that there was a complaint against Mel Tucker, but what was weird was that in the press conference they didn't say that.
They said nothing. Like, they basically went out there because they felt like they had to go out there. They went 10 minutes. Reporters were still, like, yelling questions at the AD as he walked off because they ended it so quick.
And there is circumstantial evidence. If you want to poke holes into who knew, how long did they know, there was a large jettisoning of talent from Michigan State. Keon Coleman looks incredible for Florida State. He was a two-sport athlete for Michigan State. Mel Tucker was doing the things that was getting Boulder, Colorado excited about football before he left very quickly for a big contract over Michigan State. And then I think they won a Peach Bowl in year one with Kenneth Walker, who's now in the NFL, and things were looking like they were going to be
They
sustainable.
were great. He was a Heisman candidate. They lost one game all season. We were talking about Michigan State for the national championship, for the big dollars. Mel Tucker gets paid a giant amount. Hugely credible for turning over a program in 1 year. Now it just takes 2 games for Dion, but turning over a program in 1 year.
Yeah, he was a face of, you can turn over a roster inside of 1 year.
But-
This is who you
Okay,
want to
but
do
this
job.
university having this scandal, and then there's the bonus of, good God, these details, like, how much of a fool are you? These details where the woman that you're doing this with, allegedly, is the one on the entire campus and the entire region that is the more credible one here. She's here to help you with these matters. How could you be doing this with her? Like,
and then attacking her credibility afterwards.
But
I mean,
I'm just saying, Michigan State has the credibility problem before you're starting, and now with the details that you're giving me, you're making it sound like, on the timeline, that the university, before giving him all that money, knew that that crime was being alleged. Like, I don't know what the truth is here, but
It was after, but there's a lot of things now where you can look back on the timeline and wonder aloud who knew what, because there are a lot of puzzling decisions and a lot of talent that's left that program. Granted, there's just not a very good energy surrounding Michigan State for very obvious reasons, given the recent history.
but it is bothersome that programs, whenever they get into trouble and get into situations like this, the higher you go, the less they knew. The athletic director, I had no idea that was going on. I didn't know the details until I read it in USA Today. Same thing happened at Northwestern, by the way. I didn't know the details until the student newspaper unearthed the details as to what was going on in our athletic department. How about you're the AD? Know what's going on in all your sports programs. Everything.
but especially
all of it.
But especially if it's this.
Yes.
In defense of that, there are human resource issues why it might be kept away from the athletic director. I don't know that much about this, but if this is solely an investigation of the Title IX department and it's being reported on by USA Today, while the optics are absolutely terrible, when it seems as though USA Today knows more about your own internal investigation than you do, there are reasons for this legally.
Michigan State, though, is a university that cannot come out there, give a 10-minute presser, and just go away. Like, this is a university that has a responsibility more than most to handle these things very, very seriously. Like, it's mind-blowing to me how it keeps happening there.
But handle these things very seriously. If we're talking about, for segment after segment, the commerce of football and who gets trampled here by the machine, by the giant business machine. When you say, what's it protecting? It's always the program, and the program's always protecting the money. Like, that tramples every one of every gender. And the kings at the top making the most money, and they're the coaches. They're not the presidents. They're not the athletic directors, the bosses on campus. Mel Tucker, if he's bringing that kind of attention to your library, to your business, holy, can you believe Sparty was 10-1 this year?
Yeah. There are variables to this story that make it unique and particularly difficult for Mel Tucker to survive. Look, Mel Tucker isn't going to be the first or last head football coach to have an extramarital affair. And if it's consensual, most times in history, it's been something that's been able to be navigated. But the judgment, specifically with this officer in particular, that he's already admitted to, is certainly something that's very inappropriate. You're sitting on that information, and you're Michigan State, and you have your past at play. I don't see how he coaches another game there. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, what I read most recently last night from Dan Murphy at ESPN was that because this is a Title IX investigation, it is the trauma-informed response to not let people outside of the investigation know what's happening, because then they can't tamper with the investigation or put pressure on anyone who's part of the investigation. So I'm not saying that they didn't know, because we all know that in business, like, there's a lot at stake. People don't follow the rules a lot of the time, but it's very possible that they didn't know and that they did find out Saturday, which again is still a terrible look. Obviously, it's a terrible look because for whatever reason this came out in USA Today, like it not being before this whole thing was wrapped up is a bad look. Why did it take so long to do this to the point where it became news that you found out about in a newspaper?
One of the things I am confused about, though, forgive me for the interruption, because I just think there's so much money involved with the protection of not just Mel Tucker's contract, but also the program that has to protect the money. To see that today, as we discuss these details being possibly true, these details, no matter who is he said, she said, just these details, I find it fairly remarkable that for reasons other than legal, this person still has a job. And I understand it's innocent until proven guilty, but I'm just saying, people talking about your program this way after what happened at your program, like, you better be a lot better than 10-1. You better be Saban.
The reason that he is still there is because of the money. They're waiting for the end of this Title IX investigation because they don't want to pay his buyout.
But that's what I'm saying is when you talk about, I don't know what's true here either, but good.
Well, you do know certain things that have been admitted to.
Yes, I know those things, but those things alone sound to me like things that could be fireable. And if I told the public that they were so, the public would say he should no longer have a job at Michigan State. They're that inappropriate.
It's an important conversation. I'm glad we're having it, but I'd like to overreact.
All right, we'll do that next.
It's week 1 overreaction time in the NFL. And I've got a doozy for you.
Vic's got to come down.
What?
Vic Fangio, he's got to come down.
Okay.
Thanks.
Fangio.
I know.
Did you think I said something inappropriate?
No. I was just wondering if someone's got an overreaction. I'm here for it. I want to hear it.
Soliciting
Don't disguise your voice.
This is what everyone today is doing. Everyone on Monday after football's back, you're happy to be back. One of the things that make you happiest is to be able to overreact.
Yes, and we're seeing plenty of it. And I want to hand it to certain NFC teams that won interconference matchups. Grit. It certainly pulled out ahead of Kadarius Toney, a fast twitch energy drink player of the week. That was disappointing to see. Mike Vrabel as an underdog. While he covered, he lost to a really thoroughly impressive Derek Carr performance.
Tannehill was terrible.
Yeah.
The worst.
That was a
Terrible.
bad game.
Yep.
I did not like watching that game.
I felt bad for DeAndre Hopkins because a couple times he just lobbed it up there for him, just nothing. Did we get the good Tannehill years?
Tannehill, no.
I think Tennessee
they
got
almost
him.
made it. They almost made
Tennessee
a Super
got him.
Bowl.
Now they're getting the bad ones.
Yeah.
But here come the bad ones. He looked slower and also threw 3 interceptions and by my count should have thrown 17 interceptions.
Here's my overreaction. In my
That
lifetime,
would be a record, huh?
It would have been if they
17 picks in one game.
If the Saints could could hold on to the ball, yes, it would have been a record.
Thank you.
in my lifetime, and again, I think the NFC was perfect in interconference matchups. In my lifetime, I don't think I've ever seen a bigger gulf between conferences because the class of the NFC, San Francisco, they would make the playoffs with ease. They might have home field advantage in the AFC. Tier 2 in the NFC, what is it? After last night, you'd say Dallas. Who's third?
I mean, Philadelphia.
The Eagles.
Were they super
Little
impressive?
dicey. Little dicey.
but
Were
wait,
they super impressive?
Right.
I mean, no.
Okay, but
it's the
they're
worst
in this tier.
offensive game since like 2016.
Well,
this
was a pretty basic offense that they were running, and now the NFL has had an entire offseason to pick it apart. The only thing that set it apart from what Philadelphia was doing last season was world-class decision-making from Jalen Hurts.
I'd like to overreact. I was more impressed with the Patriots in a loss than I was with the Eagles in a win. How about that?
They gifted a lot of points.
They stink.
They
Mac Jones
gifted a lot.
stinks. Whoa.
But
In the game.
if you look at the AFC East, if you look at even the AFC West, There are going to be teams that miss the playoffs in the AFC that I think that you could put in like that tier 2 class in the NFC. It's so bad over there. There's so many good teams in the AFC. We saw Justin Herbert versus Tua, and you take the Chargers end up losing that game. If you move them to the NFC, they're in that conversation for people that can challenge the Niners. If you take the Dolphins to the NFC, they're certainly right there behind the Niners.
They're just fine in the AFC, though.
The quarterbacks are in the AFC. All of the quarterbacks are in the AFC. And so the teams in the NFC that you're looking at is quarterbacks as well, because Jalen Hurts just got one of the giant contracts. I don't think he's better than Tua. I think the Eagles a couple of times have had systems that can protect a quarterback and make him look great, whether it's Nick Foles or Jalen Hurts. But I do believe that Philadelphia is great, and you may think they will come back to earth.
I do think, but that's just a classic football disagreement. But I think my overriding point is there are so many really good football teams. Heck, we're projecting 2 to be really good that are playing tonight. Someone's going to lose that game. There's going to be a third-place finisher in the AFC North, in the AFC West, in the AFC East, that if you just merely put them over in the NFC, would be in the conversation with the Cowboys, with the Lions, with the Eagles, as someone that can take the 49ers down.
Can we hit pause for just a second? Did you say, Dan Le Batard, that Tua is better than Jalen Hurts?
A pause on overreaction? I thought we were doing an overreaction segment.
No pauses on overreaction.
We just want to make sure you're playing.
I just want to make sure you're playing the game.
Yeah.
I mean,
what do you mean? Didn't you hear
are you
what
being
I,
serious or are you overreacting?
Stop standing in the way of overreactions.
Okay.
That's not what I
Dan
expected
rarely
coming from
overreacts.
you.
I was surprised
I
to hear
thought
him playing
that's
the
what
game.
we were doing.
That is all we're doing.
mean,
If you put Jacksonville in the
crazy.
NFC, they're probably second favorite in that conference. This is going to get out of hand over the course of the season. I think for the first time, you're going to hear people say, why do we even need conferences? This is not fair.
No,
You heard it
not
here first.
fair.
It's not fair.
Not fair.
It's not fair.
After 1 week,
It's
you're
not
saying
going to be
it's
fair.
not fair.
It's not going to be fair. When the Cincinnati Bengals are third in their division,
Well,
you're going to be saying
well,
it's
but
not fair.
When Chris Cote does spit, and it was excellent analysis from him, as you're talking tears, and he's just like, Mac Jones stinks out of the side of his face, smelling like Cheetos. Mac Jones stinks. And the
He
reason
does.
you can say that, but the reason you can say that is, and this turned quickly, man. This turned really quickly. All 3 of the quarterbacks in his division are a good deal better than him. That didn't used to happen to the Patriots for, 20 years, ever. And the whole thing's flipped. And now I can tell you maybe the AFC East, just looking at it, because they got Rodgers, they got Tua. Billy told me during the break with
Josh
a
Allen.
giant smile on his face.
This is an underreaction.
Dan, he couldn't. I've not
There's
seen.
now 2 co-betting MVP favorites right now. It's Patrick Mahomes and Tua.
What? The
On
overreaction
DraftKings,
is
yeah.
Mahomes.
The,
I mean-
that's I'm saying underreaction. It should be Tua. They're both plus 700 right now on DraftKings to win the MVP.
That's crazy.
Tua was plus 1800 before
This is
yesterday.
so much fun. I love football.
Where's Tyreek Hill on that?
This year
He's
is gonna
there.
be
He's
hell.
up there. Yeah.
Because Tyreek Hill said before the season his goal is 2,000 yards, a ridiculous number that a
He's
receiver's
almost there.
never gotten
He
to
might
do
get
it.
He's on pace for 3,000.
He's on pace.
Yeah, 3,000.
You
He's
could
on
play
pace
10
for it.
games and get there.
I want to play, after we play Overreaction Monday, can we play a game I like to call That's Wacky? Of things that happen in the NFL. I have a couple examples. You want to play now? We can test it
No,
out.
we'll
Yes,
do-
I
no,
always wanna play.
wait.
That
So-
feels
wait
like
a
it
minute.
needs music.
So wait a minute.
I'll
You
get
wanna
him in
do
I got
that
just
now?
a thing.
We're done overreacting. That's it.
please.
We're
Well,
done.
that's
As soon as I
wacky,
try and
man.
get
You
in on
ended
the
the
fun.
game. I
As
mean-
soon as I try to get in the fun, that's it. Everybody doesn't want to
We
play
want to play
overreaction
That's
Monday.
Wacky.
Ooh, Tyreek Hill plus 5,000.
Wow, that's a good price.
Take a flyer. Yeah.
There was a moment yesterday where Lucy and I were watching the Dolphins game together, and the AP poll came out, and Miami was ranked, and the Dolphins were beating the Chargers, and we just looked at each other, and we were like, oh, God damn it.
Oh, yes. That's wacky.
Oh, what is this game?
You know what that means, folks. It's time to play That's Wacky.
No, what it means is we don't have a music library, and Mike can only get us music from the 1920s.
Folks, on Sunday, CJ Stroud's first career completion was to himself. That's wacky.
Do you know the first quarterback to do that?
I do, because I was watching Red Zone too.
It was Bret Hart.
How many That's Wackies do
Hopefully
you
things
have?
go
I got
better
one
for
more.
him, right?
One more.
That's you got. So you got 2 That's Wackies.
Do you have one?
Everyone can play if you
No,
want.
I was
Oh,
just.
now you don't want to play,
Now you don't
huh?
wanna
I never wanted to play
Dan
That's
doesn't
Wacky.
wanna play.
I
You
was just
asked
playing
for
Overreaction Monday.
Sounds
You
like-
just let me in that game, and then you changed it to That's Wacky.
Sounds like Dan doesn't want to play.
I never wanted to play That's
Wacky.
Wacky.
Folks, Daniel Jones
last night had 2 interceptions before he had a passing yard. That's wacky.
That's
it.
Your game's better than mine. This is music, man.
This is a
Music
good
is a
game.
key to life.
You know what? Wait a minute. I do want to play that. That's why.
Oh, wow, he's back.
All right.
Amazing.
Much better game. I apologize for my game. Your game's way
That's
cooler.
wacky.
That's wacky.
Spread.
I don't know if I know how to play it correctly.
It's a
though.
different game, and you know that.
That's not a good start to the game, Dan, but keep going.
Okay, well, I'm trying
Put on
to
a
learn.
wacky voice.
I'm trying to learn. It's not
Say
natural
folks
to me.
before the
Put
fact.
on a wacky voice, sportsman.
Folks? Do it. Say folks.
I don't feel confident letting go like this.
Do wacky inflatable arm man.
All right.
Yeah, go like this. Just present it like
Excellent
this
idea.
the
Yeah.
whole time. Yeah.
You'll feel better. Yeah.
Yeah. Not like that.
Not like that. More
You're doing it
mobility.
wrong. Yeah.
Less shaking. Yeah.
The rest is still unwritten.
Did you see Aaron Rodgers pass rushing Geno Smith and Geno Smith yelling, "Oh my God"? Not wacky.
That was
Aaron
funny.
Donald.
That was
Yeah.
not funny.
Yeah,
Aaron
that's
Rodgers is not a
noteworthy.
D lineman.
That's
My bad.
not his name.
Sorry. That's,
Semi-interesting.
stayed out of the game.
I'm
Yeah,
not
if you-
confident. Yeah, I'm not confident. I don't play these
Are you
games
looking for
usually.
money?
I deserve that.
Did you guys, I don't like the arm thing. You can be. Did you see when lined up at middle linebacker over the center, Myles Garrett started doing a crossover dribble as he intimidated Joe Burrow?
What was that?
That's wacky.
Yeah, you don't need to put down money. It's not a fine. It just wasn't wacky.
No, you should put down
No,
money.
he said Aaron
Oh, 'cause I
Donald.
said
It
Aaron
was
Rodgers
Aaron
instead of Aaron
Rodgers.
Donald.
No, you just said Aaron Donald. You
Yeah,
meant to say Aaron
well,
Rodgers,
now
so
I
you
owe
have to
money.
pay a fine.
Unbelievable. I mean,
Chris still has one, I think.
Fun game. Now I'm done.
Oh.
But I don't know how to play it with you. So look at me, Sean Payton tries to onside kick to start the game because he wants to be, look at me, Sean Payton. And then they lose 17-16.
No, you're bad at this. No.
I was
no.
gonna go with
wacky.
you.
Here, that's not
Peyton
even the
always
wacky
does
part.
that, yeah.
Here, the Denver Broncos only had 6 offensive possessions
No
yesterday.
way. That's wacky.
That's good. That is good.
No, that's wacky.
Dan's
Wacky.
fixed this.
Okay, I do.
that's
stay.
good as a different
Yeah,
game.
that is, what? Can we play that?
We actually do have imaging for that. What's
That's
good?
Oh, what's good?
Yeah.
Everybody ate up. I have no confidence here. Mike Tirico for saying the Lions won with an asterisk.
Now you're just reading your notes from the weekend.
That's
Not
bad.
wacky.
You're
That's
bad at
mean.
this game.
Not wacky.
You're bad at this game. You're bad.
I don't know how to play. I don't know
You're
how to
not
let
good
go.
at this.
I'm repressed. I don't know how to let go and have fun. It's been a problem I've had all my life. I want to have fun with you guys, and you don't let me. Like, you guys are all the cool ones. You do this, and that's wacky, and everyone,
Wacky, yeah.
everyone sings together. And then I try to play with you, and you're like, we don't want you to play. We like it better when you don't play.
Now we're all done with That's Wacky.
It's difficult for me to explain the chaos that is Billy's life right now. He does not need football to be here. He's got 2 young kids, and they're both better behaved than Stugotz.
Yep.
And God Bless Football has arrived because it is God Bless Football is an award-winning thing that Billy and Stugotz own. It is theirs. It is their project that brings them Gronk's family of meatheads, and it's a messy,
2
sprawling,
chains last week.
Yep.
it's a messy, sprawling, wonderful thing that is the invention of the partnership between Stugotz and Billy.
Is 2 Chainz 3-1 going into tonight?
Yeah, it's a
He
big
is.
night for 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz.
Okay, so the 2 of them rushed in here today. They careened in here today to beat everyone to the rush of Overreaction
Some of us
Monday.
faster than others.
Yep.
Stugotz was late.
Mikey
Yep.
A, I mean.
You were
Nah.
both late. Lucy got here at 7 a.m. and you were both late.
Well, no, sort of. I vomited purple at 2 in the morning. Okay,
Yeah.
so we don't need to get into that. But
Bona fides.
it was a game time decision here. Yeah, but Lucy joined us today. We did an episode this morning, Dan. We're going to do an
Yep.
episode kind of reacting every Monday that's going to go out, and Lucy was part of it. And I think she will be going forward if she wants to. She's fun.
I had fun.
Well,
Yeah.
people really like Lucy, and again, people really like God Bless Football. And look, man, I'm stunned that Stugotz is getting here and doing genuine early work at any time, late, early.
You and I both.
any time.
Genuine.
But he knows that there is a profit to be made by being first to football on a Monday morning, that the numbers skyrocket, that God Bless Football is getting more and more popularity. And so Stugotz is working at it because he sees money.
Well, I mean, he
True.
didn't exactly participate in our planning meeting where we talked about topics that we would be discussing today or really share
But
any
this is
thoughts.
why you vomit purple, though, because you can't control him and he expects to fart out stuff and you to make it great.
I'm hoping it was blueberries that I ate that I was packing for my daughter last night because I had like 5 that were like, you know how blueberries, I don't know how you guys
Dangerous
do with
game.
blueberries. Yeah, sometimes they're like softer than they should be. So like I don't want to put that in because I know if I just leave that out overnight, it's just going to be even soggier. So I was like, just eat 4 or 5 blueberries. I was reading about the benefits of blueberries last week and how it's supposed to be helpful for you. So I said, I'll try it. And then I was vomiting purple, and I'm really hoping it's that because the closest I could find was pink or red vomit because I looked at a vomit spectrum, obviously, at 2:30 in the morning because that's what you do when you vomit purple. So I was looking at the vomit spectrum, and it says it could be an ulcer. So I'm hoping that it was the blueberries.
This is why this is not good for you. This,
it's terrible
No, but
for me.
I'm saying football.
My blood
God
is on
bless
your
football.
hands if
No,
something
yes.
happens to me, just so
This
you know.
is stress. It might be blueberries, but it also might be just Stugotz.
The blueberries on your hands?
I love that dad tax move you do, though, when you're packing a lunch, just a few bites for yourself. You got to do it.
You apply a dad tax?
Oh, to everything. I got to taste it. The thing my daughter's picking up on now is I got to taste it to make sure it's okay.
Right.
Is the move. And
Just to
she's,
make sure
Daddy,
it's
you don't
safe."
have to taste everything.
Yeah.
You're
I
stealing.
need 2 of these cookies. I just got to make sure.
You're stealing food from your
The
child.
Dax. What do you mean? It's not stealing.
He's checking.
Yeah.
It's universal. My
Yeah.
dad would be like, I don't know if it's poisonous. I have no clue.
It's a
I'll
gag.
find out.
That's
You're
what.
welcome.
That's the Halloween trick, right? Like no one's really. I mean, I guess
It's
maybe
not just
terrible
Halloween, though.
People are.
You're a rookie
It's
if
every day.
it's every day. It's
No, I
every
know,
meal, every single thing.
But every Halloween, they're like, there's
Turkey
people
sandwich,
poisoning kids.
taking a bite out of it first. Need
No,
to taste it.
there's a girlfriend tax too. When your boyfriend orders something, especially French fries, you have to steal half of
I
them.
think that's a Jessica.
That's a
tax.
cax.
No.
That's a couple tax.
No,
I'm
no, that's and marriage. It only gets worse.
Wait
Let me
a
tell you
minute, no,
something.
but French fries, that's for everybody.
No, it's not. No, not when I ask you, do you want French fries? You say no, and then you eat all of mine. No. If you say no, it's no. No means no, Dan. If you don't want the French fries, you're not getting my French fries. And of course, I don't actually put my foot down. I just go hungry because I lose all my French
I
fries.
But
don't
Dan
want
is
my
saying-
French fries. I want your French fries.
Yeah, but if you're sitting at a table with Le Batard because I have, and you order French fries, he's grabbing some. Like he is,
Well, I'm
whether
saying-
you want him to or
I'm-
not.
I'm just saying French
and I'm kind of with him.
I'm saying French fries are sort of universal on everybody wants those. It's not dad tax. It's not girlfriend tax. It's just everybody loves French fries, and stealing French fries. I think everyone listening to this understands you want to reach across the table and grab French fries. Nobody would disagree with that. I think Jessica, though, is probably more aggressive than most about Lehman's food is my food.
Yes.
You can
and
tell-
my food is my food.
You can tell a lot about a couple by how they share food. Like some couples don't want you reaching across. You have to actually ask. Where some couples it's just a free for all. I can put my fork in your
Divorce.
plate at any moment.
If you're
which I
not
do.
letting me steal your food, we're not going to last very long together. Lehman knows if he asks me, what do you want for lunch? And I say, I don't want anything, that means I'm eating whatever he makes for himself.
When I ask my wife, "What are you ordering at a restaurant?" there's a right answer to this question, and it's something that I would like that I can have a few bites of.
Right, the one that you're not getting.
Right.
gag.
Yes.
But Billy
You're
is
deciding
My
between
number two.
No,
you get
but-
number one.
Whatever
you
my
want her to
number
get
two
number
is,
two.
that's
Yes.
what you get.
Perfect.
You know what looks good to me? Whatever my number 2 is, I say it out loud to you,
Right.
so you
Of
get
course,
it.
right.
Double meal, yeah.
I'm deciding between.
Deal.
Right, yeah.
the problem with this is, and this part I'm not sure how common this one is. Billy is saying that his wife is actively saying, I don't want French fries. And then when they get there, she does want French fries.
Well, like if we're in a drive-through, I'll be like, oh, she wants like a chicken sandwich with only tomato, whatever. I'm like, you want the meal? She's like, no, and I'm like, okay. And then
You always go meal.
And then I order the meal, and then I have a soda, and I have a fry, and then half my soda's gone, and half my fries are gone. And I'm like, you said you did not want a meal.
She didn't want it. She wanted yours.
Well, that's no.
Hers is hers, and yours is hers.
But I
That's how
wanted
it
mine.
works.
That's
Order
the
two
thing.
meals, though.
Too
Well,
bad.
that's the thing is that then I'll order two.
But then she doesn't want it.
100%.
Yeah, but it's give
because
and
all the
take.
time I have to
She
order a
wants it just
pineapple
because it's
smoothie
yours,
from
yes.
McDonald's that doesn't get drank, and it's just sitting in my fridge collecting whatever pineapples do when they sit in there. Mango.
Billy, it's a give and take. Yes, you're gonna lose some fries, but you're also gonna get a lot of sandwiches that she doesn't finish, and a lot of
Maybe
like
that's what happened to the blueberries.
you got like yes, you're gonna lose some fries every once in a while, but you're gonna get a lot.
What is your guess? That you're vomiting purple because of the blueberries?
I'm hoping that it's that because if not, it said I should seek medical attention immediately, and I'm like, it's really late. This is an inconvenient time to do
But
that.
if you had to guess, is it blueberries or is it Stugotz? Is it God Bless Football? Is it another football season? You've got 2 kids. Things are chaotic. And
You keep saying 2 kids like it's a negative. Like that's
no,
it's a happy
they're
thing.
very young though, and sleep is erratic, and Stugotz is a handful.
Yep.
Yeah, I honestly, I as I was driving in, it sounds strange. I was hoping to vomit again to see if it was purple again or if I passed the purple situation. And if it was almost like I'm looking for a relief vomit that's just a normal color. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know the cause of it.
But it could be a worse color.
I went to the doctor for a checkup for the first time in like a while. And they're like, yeah, you look.
I don't buy that.
You don't buy what?
You're always at the doctor.
Well, it's just damn follow-ups. Never-ending follow-ups. It's just a copay.
Can we just
scam.
do it all in one shot? Yeah. I don't know. Just run the test. Do the shot. Run the test.
I
Tell
have
me
2
before
parts
I
of a
leave.
physical. It's annoying. I'm with you on this. Yeah.
2 parts.
I go in for blood work, then I have to come back like a week later to get the rest done. Give me a break. Follow-ups.
You don't have enough liquid blood for them to draw at once.
Put it on the poll, please,
Just
Juju.
smoke in there.
Are you surprised?
Congealed.
Are
It's
you
not
su-
a blood test, a smoke test.
Are you surprised at all that Stugotz, when it comes to health as well, doesn't have any follow-up? Because I will.
I'm there. Get it done. Let's go.
But I think Stugotz is stressed too, because after bragging to me as if he were doing me a favor last week that he didn't smoke cigarettes, he's come in here a couple of times today smelling like heaters.
Yeah. Stress. The Jets. I mean, that's.
You definitely smoked last weekend.
I did. Yeah. But not as
No,
much
but
as I normally do.
but what he did
Yeah.
was one day, 90 minutes in, he, as if he were doing me a big favor, he said, "Dan, have you noticed I'm not destroying my voice with the cigarettes these 90 minutes?"
Yeah.
And then he went right back to smoke.
That was the 48 to 72 hours after they extract your teeth. They say you can't smoke. Dry pockets or sockets or something like that, you know?
So you got right back to it.
Well, trust me, you can smoke.
But it's the stress. It is all the stress. And one thing I feel like, Stugotz, I really don't feel like Monday can be so chaotic with all of our football intensity and insanity, professional football. I don't feel like Sunday should swallow Saturday here. Don't tell me that Nick Saban can lose quietly. I'm not there yet. Don't tell me that the sports have sped up so much that Nick Saban can get away with losing at home by 10 to Texas, and we're just going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter anymore that my favorite thing on Saturday for so long was I just want to hate you and watch you lose. He can't lose quietly. He can't go from dynasty to losing quietly.
Even
can he?
Fullcast After Dark rated it about a B+ on the Laugh at Bama scale. It's just if you watch the game,
They lost to a good team.
they don't have the better quarterback. They don't have the better line. They're not more talented. They lost because they should have. Huh?
They don't look that great. Like, that's it. And so it's not one of those things where it's like, haha, funny, Bama kickers are terrible. It was just like, damn, Texas is better than they are. Like, that's it.
It was tough. It was. I was rooting for Jalen Milroe because he has a cannon of an arm, and when that is an accurate pass, it is that one touchdown they had late that kind of brought them close to Texas. I was like, okay, they're back in this.
But the problem is it's accurate 50% of the time.
I know, and then he missed a wide open wheel route that would have been a walk-in touchdown to
Yes.
take the lead. It was hard to watch, but I was still found myself rooting for Alabama for some reason because I think they've become so good that I'm like, okay, I don't even care anymore. Like, I just want them to be the best team ever because then it gives my team a pass for not winning a national championship in this decade.
Does Tommy Rees play Madden? Because they should just do the Madden playbook of 4 verts and just scramble
Love
when
4
it's
verts.
not open.
Yeah.
4 verts is a classic.
I know Tommy Rees, the former Notre Dame offensive coordinator, was getting a lot of criticism for his play calling because the quarterback situation there, they have the guy who started who's a 5-star recruit. They've got a backup who's a 4-star recruit. Neither of them won the starting job in the spring game. They both played pretty bad. So they went in the portal. They got Tyler Buckner, who was at Notre Dame, had a bunch of injuries at Notre Dame, so never got to start a full season or fart.
I'm sure he's farted.
He did fart a full season.
And it's now kind of up in the air,
said
like
fart.
if they're gonna keep Milroe starting for the rest of the season, or if they're gonna try one of the other guys. But it's a very bizarre situation for a Nick Saban Alabama team to not have a quarterback situation figured out because he's had some pretty dang good quarterbacks there.
It's such a weird time, too, because the rest of the SEC West is not particularly good. LSU, we don't think is as good as they are. We know Texas A&M is good. There's not a ton of competition there. It's a wild time.
I am fascinated by the business of this sport. And for a long time, Nick Saban was the CEO of how to run this business, somehow dominating with all of the best players and somehow program didn't actually get into that much trouble, barely any at all. And I told you the story, Stugotz. They won a national championship here in the Orange Bowl. On the plane flight home, he was drawing up plans for this is going to make us so much money. I need it spent all over the place here because I'm the CEO of our university, and I need giant facilities. I need more than everyone else. This is how I'm going to stay ahead. And everyone done caught up fast, it feels like.
We already figured out the next 4 moves, Dan, for Alabama on God Bless Football if you want to listen to it. You want to hear it?
I'm very well. You can give me them all now, or should I just tease God Bless Football, the award-winning God Bless Football that makes you vomit purple?
Deion Sanders going to Alabama, taking Arch Manning, leaving his son behind.